All right, I'm just going to try to liven this up a little bit, make it a bit, easier to get through because there's quite a bit. So, where'd we start off? Really, our direction from the board was to look at Gumatj community, the Gorkula site, which is this area, the homelands, Dunya, Bran, and the Garma cattle station area. We chose those areas for trying to develop. Always the key points were employment and community benefits. I think there's a map up behind me now if everything's working all right. Is it? Good. It'll give you the idea of the diversity of the area. So, Gumatj runs a range of diverse commercial, social operations, building a strong future by investing back to its own people. And that's what we've always done. We've never looked for profit. We just try to drive the money back into the people. Mining royalties have also helped build a sustainable growth on employment. Instead of going out of our field, we looked at what we were getting in from mining royalties a number of years ago, about 7. We said, right, let's just reinvest that into employment, into jobs, into diversity, which we've done and quite successfully. I won't tell you how much we're making now because that would make the government not give me any more money, which they don't. So where are we now? Okay, where'd we start? Gumleaf. Yeah, we had a cow, and that's literally what we had. We had a couple of cows about nearly 100 kilometres away, and I drove through one day with Gallaroy, and I just said, look, is there any reason we just have a couple of cows here? And he said, well, visualise, maybe we should do something. So we've got about 900 now, and established the Garma cattle station. Not a lot, but we take things slow. We've developed the abattoir at the cattle station itself. We built a butcher shop first in Gumatj, which is a community, but then we turned around and we bought the butcher shop in town, and now we're supplying the whole of Nullarbor in the region, which has been pretty good. We have a number of Yungal trainees in there. Took a long time for that to happen, and disregard the photograph behind me of that cow hanging there. That was our first cow, by the way. Generally speaking, you've got to understand the concept. We've gone out there and we said, let's build an abattoir, right? Nobody said, how do you deal with that with younger people working in an abattoir? I mean, the first days, even I got dressed up with a white suit and the gum boots and the gloves, and we all rushed in there and we took one look and said, yeah, look, who's going to work here? But we've done it, okay? It's now working. It's quite successful. We're not making a hell of a lot of money, but we're not losing money. And that's the aim of this thing, is keep it going, sustainability. Very important for us. And then we had a tree. I think I brought one. What we said was, what can we do? With respect to Rio Tinto, with mining, they bulldoze the trees down, they herd them up, they burn them and use the ash and reuse that for replanting afterwards. And we said we'd come along and we'd say, let's go in and salvage what we could. It's always easy to say what we did, but now with 3 mills operating, we're building not only quality furniture, and I've got to say it is quality furniture, and we're also building construction, for construction for trusses. I had to learn that word twice. So you see behind me a picture of Hope of the trusses. Now, what does that mean? Yes, you can sell that commercially, but what it does is you can build your own houses with those, right? So you're using the trees off their land, you're putting it through the mill. They would have been burnt, mind you, right? We cut them down, we put them through the mills, we build the trusses. They get a very good education. I have to say, the guy standing beside the log there with his foot on it, it's a bit iffy. They're not real keen on cutting trees down yet because it is a dangerous job, but we have 2 now fully qualified. But what we do have is them understanding what you can do with the resources in hand, and that's important. We then went on to, well, you've got the trusses, let's get into construction. So we always had outside companies come into, not just in this whole region, to build houses. So we joined up with Delta Reef Industries, which had the expertise of plumbers, electricians and whatnot, and we started a company called DRG, Delta Reef Gumatj. And from then, we've been very successful in government contracts in building houses, and I'm very proud to say we're now building actually houses for our own workers in our own community. And now the only reason we could actually afford that was we went ahead and we bought a batch plant so we could make our concrete, and then we bought a block making plant so we could build our own blocks, cut our own trusses down. I'm just looking to build a steel factory now, which I can't. I won't do. I'd like to though. So we've gone, and to give you an idea, to build a house, it's somewhere like Gallowinka, Gapawiak, wherever it is, around 650,000. We're down to 450. That's a major difference. You can afford to do that, and you can design your own type of house. You don't have to go by government design. You go and you put more shade on the outside because they like living on verandas, right? You design it with them in mind. So you sit down with the people and say, well, what do you want? And then we'll see if we can technically build it. So, you know, it's a great thing. And the other thing is these woodcutters now and block makers and cement workers go and they see their own houses being built for them. And that's a key point, you know. It shows that you're sustainable. It shows that you're here for the long haul. You're not doing this just to build and get out, leaving them with something that they don't even know how to maintain. We've got painters that choose their own colour and paint their own houses. They paint the next one. So they take pride in what they're doing, in which case they take ownership. And when you have ownership, you have less maintenance. You have people that care about their buildings, and that's important because it's their buildings, everything. Floors, concrete, walls, it's all theirs. I know I prattle on a bit, but you've got to understand this. It took a long time to get us this way. You can see a couple of the houses in the trust. You notice we're very keen on safety, so we do everything right. Okay, no shortcuts in our business. Thank goodness, after I read all the laws on it. So there won't be any shortcuts. So then we start, okay, we've done all that. So now how, I hope that's the right slide, training, yeah, okay. So how do we get more people trained up? How do we get more people involved in training? So we saw a huge gap in this. Even though we train on site, that doesn't actually help you with the amount of people you need to progress. It also doesn't allow you to diversify the training. It just gives you one or two areas that you train on. So we decided to speculate and go for the a regional training centre, which I hope some of you walk through before we go. That is just the accommodation we've built over there, let alone anything else. By developing that, we went out and I think you should see a slide now with just a few people there. Forget the old bloke at the back. He was a mentor. He just slipped in there somehow. The age group is 17 to 24. We got 83 applicants. We then drilled them down to 40. We then put them through the selection board, all Yungal, and we're down to 20 for the first hit. All right, but those 20 guys range from as far as Gapawiak all the way back here, okay, and they're keen to do it. 17-week course, it's a long course, but if they stick it out for 17 weeks, what is the difference between our training and most training? We guarantee a job. It doesn't matter if you can't drive a bulldozer or fly a plane or be a brain surgeon, you will get a job. That's our guarantee, and that's what keeps them there. Because we could put a guarantee behind it, you're getting people that are investing in themselves. Because they know when they get out, it's not just a certificate, it's not just a 4-week course, it means they can actually go and get a job immediately, because we'll employ them. Guy there in front of me shaking his head saying the camera's not working, so what a waste of time for me, eh? I broke it. Okay, some of you were here and I talked about the Gulkula mine. Well, look, that's done and dashed. I've signed the papers. I'm happy. We can move on from that one. The Gulkula mine will start in August, and we'll start our first training people on that. Look, out of 20 recruits that we're getting in for our mine training or for our regional training centre, you're only going to find that about 4 will be interested in actual mining. Well, that's fine, because that's how we start slowly. The other 4 will be in the many diverse areas of training itself. running from extraction licences to heavy haulage to administration to catering, because on this site we will build not only the training schools, we'll build the kitchens, we will build everything that they need to stay on site, live on site for 17 weeks to get them through this. We're going to help them, we're going to manage, because quite honestly, we have seen and tried many, many different things, and we believe this is the only way it's going to really work for us, for our future. So changes we see now, we have very high employment. I always never like giving numbers, but okay, we've got 65 full-time Indigenous employees, right? Now, that's not counting the Indigenous boards and the mentors and everything else with it. It's 65 employees. Children that go to school. We have the highest rate for our little community going to Nullarbor School. They can go to Yirrkala, but they've chosen to go to Nullarbor School. I applaud that. Whatever you want to do, you go. As long as you go to school, we're happy. Most of those kids that go to school, those guys work for us, or their wives work for us. It's a business model that works. We built an enclave just for women to make it safe there so they can drop their children off to preschool or school, then they go in and they under-operate our shops, which we built, our coffee shops, which we built, our nurseries, which we built, and we're just about to invest in a, what's that food one? No, the actual food, the food ladder. So we can get food from up here too. But we're not there yet. We've got a long way to go, but we are actually getting it. We're just making a very large, we've got an anchor on this symbol. It's been there since Gallery once told me to make that the symbol, anchoring our future, and he said now get a bigger anchor. So that's what I'm doing. So have we been successful? Making employment possible, we support this by flexible hours, arranging. You have to deal with culture here. You may not have to do it down south now, but here you must deal with culture, which means we have to be very flexible. We have to have diverse jobs. We have to have more people than we normally would like on the books, so that other people go to funerals. Some don't, some do, different clans. We look for sustainability, community benefits, low impact operations. And when I say that, the term sheet I signed today was not lightly signed. Rio is a nice company and we work well with them, but when you sign to a large mining company that you will deliver X amount of ore, you must deliver. So we had to really think about how we do this. So we've got a very slow curve up to do this. Hopefully they're going to make it bigger. We'll get there soon. But it's not so that it puts too much pressure on the people. Otherwise, it'll be like joining a raw mining company that you've never worked for before. It's too hard. So slow and easy. We're striving for drug and free alcohol. We do drug tests. We do free alcohol. It's a never-ending issue, and I say this with all the respect to the younger people and outside. It's very easy to get hooked on drugs and alcohol, and it's very hard to get them off. But we try and we do it, and we are successful. But it's out there all the time because there are a lot of damn sellers that sell it. All right? They're selling bottles of scotch for $160 a bottle out there, and it just keeps going and going in money. The price keeps going up as it gets sore. It never stops. And I think anyone that's worked in this industry will know that's a true fact. It's a terrible thing that we're seeing happening, but we'll get around it. Where to next? I love this one. Okay, township lease, we'll get there. What that means, it means that real ownership will be from the younger people that own their own leases. If they own their own leases, they can go to a bank and borrow money. A lot of people don't like that. The Yungal I work for, my board says, hey, it's our land, why can't I have a lease on it? Okay, does anyone know about leases? You should see the friends behind you, NLC, very good friends of ours, put your hand up. Let them talk to you about leases. It's hard for a Yungal person as it is for us to get a lease. Will, would that be right? You still got to go through the same formats. Yeah, very hard. So it's all right saying, well, you own the land, you're a traditional owner, zip down the bank and get some money to build a house. And the bank says, you got tenure? And they say, no. I said, well, then tough luck. You won't get the money. So it is hard. And the last one, space launch facility. Well, I had to bring that up because it's all over the neighbourhood. Okay, we are looking at a scientific launch facility many kilometres from here because we feel that the opportunity is there. NASA's been here, there's been a number of those seeking that. For me, it's an education program. It's a possibility we can, and it also means a diverse influx of funding that may come this way for the traditional people after mining. Because tell you this, after mining, there's not much, and we've got a lot of people out there. So, prattling on, I'm done. Thank you so much.